Morning internet, welcome back to the workshop, thumbs up. Okay, we've done the wheel cylinders, the slave cylinders if you like. We've refurbished them, we've put them back together, they're on the bike. So now it's the turn of the rear master cylinder. This is the one when you put your foot on the foot brake, provides the hydraulic pressure for the bike to stop. Okay, that's the cylinder. We had a clean up, we've decorroded it all, it's all nice and clean now, raring to go. That's the piston that goes in it. We've got all the old seals here, so we'll discard them, put them to one side. I've got a kit with all new circlips in. So yeah, we've got the new seals to go on. We've got a new circlip there, a new rubber o-ring. We've got a new spring, a rubber boot. We don't need the old one, we've got a brand new one. And a circlip for the top. Not sure what that's for, but anyway. Right, yeah, so raring to go. First things first then, let's get the new seals on the piston. So let's open the bag up. It's just like Christmas time, isn't it? Right, there's two seals on this, a primary and a secondary. That's a new primary seal. Now you have to get that primary seal over that piston. That looks a little bit like it's going to be a tough job, I hear you cry. Well, actually no, bit of silicone grease and over it goes. So without further ado, let's get the silicone grease out. You've seen me use this before. Bit of silicone grease on the seal. Okay, bit of silicone grease on the piston. Now you've got to make sure these go on the right way. Can be fiddly, especially when you've got grease all over your fingers. But yeah, that should go, that should stretch over the top of that piston. There we go, and it's on. That was easy enough, wasn't it? Right, you'll notice which way around it goes. It's tapered when it's fitted. That's the correct way, because that's where the push rod goes. So when the piston moves in that direction, that leading edge of the seal causes your hydraulic pressure. Right, so that's one seal on. One down. Next, we need seal number two, the secondary seal. So again, another little Christmas box to open there, look. You tend to have an awful lot of little bags with parts in when you do a job like this. And then when the job's finished and everything's put together, you look at what you've got left over and it really is an awful lot of packaging. Now that goes on that end, same way as the other seal. You have to stretch it over again, bit of a nightmare. Especially when you've got greasy fingers. I think we may need the use of a not so sharp screwdriver to get that over there, because that is really tight. Nope, that's not playing. Okay, let's try the sideways approach. Go from the sideways. And there she goes, it's on. There we go. So, you've got your primary seal and your secondary seal on there. I hope you can see that clearly. Right, so next task. We have a brand new spring. So that brand new spring goes on the end of that piston. That goes on there, like so. So now you've got a return spring fitted. You've got your two seals. Okay, so all we need to do now, we need to pop just a tiny little bit of grease around the entrance of the master cylinder there. Bit more silicone grease around there, so that when we pop that in there, it doesn't, the seals don't, there we go, the seals don't have a dry edge to run against. So that's that fitted into the cylinder, as you can see. It's a bit proud at the moment, sticking up, but what we're going to do is we're going to compress that and we're going to put a circlip in. Now unfortunately, when you put these circlips in, it can be a bit of a handful. So I must apologise now if my hands get in the way and you can't see what's going on, but hey, that's the way it goes. Right, we've got our new circlip. There's our new circlip. That's the washer that goes over the end, and that's the push rod. So what we need to do now, we need to pop that in there like that. So the domed washer goes over the push rod, and that goes into the end and holds the piston in place. What I'm going to do quickly before I'm going to hear you groan in the background now. There's going to be an awful lot of people on the internet groaning. Out comes the rubber grease. Okay, I just put a bit of rubber grease on that. Now the reason we put a bit of grease on that, well, there's two reasons. First of all, obviously metal on metal's never good. But the second reason is, if you put a bit of red rubber grease on it and you ever come to have to take it apart again, it should come apart without any interference from our friend corrosion. Right, bit of grease on the circlip. Right, now this is where the fun begins. We need to get that push rod in there. Hope you can see this on camera. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll zoom you in just a tiny little bit. There we go. Right, that goes on there. Okay, now you have to hold that in place while you put the circlip in. All the fun of the fair on this one, folks. Right, so we'll get our circlip pliers. We'll locate our circlip on there. Ready to go, raring to go. We'll pop that over there. I'm going to try and do this so you can see what I'm doing. The circlip over the top like so. Right, now we need to compress that. Squeeze the circlip and in it goes. Wow, that went in really, really easy. Right, we just need to make sure that circlip's in its groove. It looks like it's in its groove. No, it isn't. Right, okay, I thought that was too easy. It's got a long way to go down as that. I'll push that down. I'll get a broader tipped screwdriver and we'll push that down so it goes into its groove. There we are, it's in. Okay, right, I'll try and give you a close-up of that if I can. Oh, come on, focus. Focus, focus, focus. There we go. And you can see there the circlip's in its groove. Okay. And our rod can move, it's movable, and you can compress it as well, which is what you do when you put your foot on the brake. So that's the piston rod assembly in the housing. So the next thing to do is to pop on the rubber boot. Right, rubber boot. Just like unpacking a Christmas present, look. Okay, new rubber boot. Well, that rubber boot goes on that special nut there. So, I'll tell you what I'll do. No, don't say a word. Bit more rubber grease. I know. Pop that on there. It's not playing, is it? Pop that on there. Come on. Do you know what? You'll all be shouting at me, I know, but if I pop that nut on that, it may go over a little bit easier. So we'll screw that onto there. Sorry, I'm out of shot again. I'm terrible with this camera work, aren't I? Right, here we go. Pull that over there, and there we go, and it sits in that groove. There we go. Right, so then we'll just screw that down. Push that into place. I've got greasy fingers, folks, that's what it is. Greasy blinking fingers. Try and get that in shot. And that rubber goes in there. And we're just really gentle, because using a screwdriver to push this rubber right down to the bottom, there is a danger of you damaging the rubber with the tip of the screwdriver. So I'm being really, get it in shot, come on, you can do this. Be really gentle, just ease it in like that. There we go. And we'll just get that nut to the correct position. Just keep turning that. I'm not in shot again, that's terrible. Right, there we go. And there we go. There's your slave cylinder done. I'm not happy with that at all, it's horrible. Right, hang on a minute. It just doesn't seem to want to go where I put it, that. That's it. That's it. Okay, right. If you look at the old rubber, there, you'll see. Focus, focus. Come on, you can do it. It's not focusing, is it? You'll see the top of that rubber slightly start again. 3, 2, 1, go. You'll see the top of that rubber slightly dished, if you like. And that's where it sits in the groove on that nut on that shaft there. If you don't have that sat in properly, when you operate the cylinder, the seal pops out. But there we go, I've got it in, look, and it's right. So there we go. That's our master cylinder assembled. Okay, the last thing to do here is to pop the actuator on. So we'll pop that nut on there. Yeah, this is a bit clever, this. That saddle has a nut that slides into it, and then it goes on there like that. Really clever. Clever, these Chinese. Right, anyway, I shouldn't say that, should I? Oh, I'll edit that. And then that lock nut goes up to the back of it like that. Now that adjusts the position of your pedal. Start again. That there adjusts the position of the pedal in relation to the position of the cylinder. We'll come to adjust that and fix that in its final position later on. Right, last thing to do then. We've got our input, I suppose. It's where the fluid comes in from the reservoir into the cylinder again. Right, so we've got an O-ring to go on that. With, yes, I know you're gonna shout at me, I know, bit of rubber grease in there, yeah, I know. There we go. So that rubber O-ring sits in the bottom of there, like so, right? And then our pipe connector. I would always advise to grease all of these, because you can have such fun and games trying to get this lot together if you try and put it together without any grease. See, that's gone straight in there, look. Right, last job, circlip, another one. For some reason that won't go over there. There we are. Right, and then we just locate the circlip in its groove. There we are, that's in. Now, because I've put grease on that, that will rotate. Yeah, so we can get it into its final position when we fit it on the bike. It's somewhere there, I think, but anyway. So the circlip's in its groove. All greased up, raring to go. That's it. That's your master cylinder put together. Obviously there's the addition of the fluid connection there. Hydraulic connection. There's the fluid pipe connection that goes on there. I'll just lay these out for you so you can get a good idea of how it goes. You've got your, get it in shot, come on man, you can do this. Let's back out a little bit. We've got our cylinder, our pipe, that's a piece of protection pipe that goes on the outside, and that's the reservoir. You have a couple of clips that look like that go on the pipe to hold the pipe onto there and onto there, and that's basically it. That's your rear master cylinder done. Next time you see that, it'll be fitted to the bike. Well, I hope that's been of some help to you. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.